Bluff City Media presents The Anthony Sain Show on YouTube at Bluff City Media. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Anthony Sain.
Acknowledge me.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to a very impromptu edition of the Anthony Sain Show.
We told y'all we might be coming back.
Yeah, Kenny, we've done this before. We've done like the supplemental emergency Anthony Sain shows, but never has that happened literally immediately after the premiere of a show. Like today's show came on at 12. We recorded yesterday on Thursday. Out of convenience, we always record the show the night before. But never have we had an emergency podcast come out literally as soon as the premiere of the daily edition of the show. So we were here today.
Can't ever get enough Anthony Sain though, man.
Say it again.
You can't ever get enough Anthony Sain.
Oh, who can? I can't think of literally one person that can get enough of me. Just be honest with you. They like me in double doses sometimes. But of course, it's funny when we recorded the show yesterday during this the 3-pointer. The news of Steven Adams being traded to the Houston Rockets broke in the middle of the show. I got to go back and watch it because I would love to see my immediate reaction I haven't seen it yet.
What?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, you lying. I think you said you lying.
Yeah,
you lying about
ass.
3 times.
It's dirty ass you. But we got the immediate reaction. And I came home. I devoured Twitter a little bit. Had some other stuff going on last night. Of course, I was at the game. I had my one of my mentees from a Solid Media group, my guy Josh McCray. He was with me, 15-year-old kid, man, and he's
killer.
He's in the car with me. I'm calling media members. I'm calling some of my league plugs. He was like, "Shit, this media shit real." He's at the game, and all of us are like scrolling up like little kids trying to figure out what's going on, what's next with the Grizzlies with Steven Adams, and he had a good time last night being a part of all that. But that is not what you guys jumped on in the middle of the afternoon to be a part of. You guys want to hear some hot takes, man, on Steven Adams. This will be a red pill edition. If you want to politically correct thoughts on that, catch me on somebody else's show or go listen to one of the several other Memphis media members, bloggers, content creators, podcasters, etc. They will give you a much cleaner version of their interpretation of this trade. My immediate reaction to it.
Hey, before we get started, let's bring Chris in.
Oh, yeah, we got Chris is there. I can't see the backstage, so yeah.
Okay, I got you. Here he comes. 1 second. About to bring him in right now.
But yeah, my man, Christian Ingram, from the Saint Asylum podcast himself, from No Bluffing podcast, from the soon to come. Are we making the announcement live today? The soon to come. Are we talking about that today, Christian?
Might as well, man. You might as well. Hey, you
in the media spaces. They'll be coming to you live once a week, hosted by Christian Ingram.
Let's go, man.
My God, what's going on, Christian Ingram?
Man. First of all, I'm trying to fix my face from being so big next to y'all. Y'all, I'll position perfectly. But I'm good, man.
Like you had the laptop in your lap, literally.
Right. But my webcam is in extra HD, man. But I'm glad to be on with y'all, bro.
Oh yeah, sure. Man. I said, Kenny, who else to bring on other than like I say all the time, Kenny. I see so much the pettiness in Christian, man. It just reminds me so much of myself, man.
Yeah, man. He's
I don't have a big bro, little bro relationship with him, man. I literally see but I do see so much of myself, man. I envy his youth. Chris is about 10 years younger than me,
So he's a part of the petty machete family. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I just see that pettiness, man. I just wish I could I just want to be the batter in his back, man. It just propels him sometimes. But I see so much of myself, man, when the pettiness was just something I got off on for sure. But Christian, I am excited to bring you on. I sat back cheering for you, man, because I told Kenny a lot of stuff that I argue about, man. I don't have time to argue about this shit no more. I'm cheering for you as you were standing on this. You were standing on this point, standing on this narrative, and I totally agree with you. And I was like, yeah, Christian's right. You know what I mean? He knows what he's talking about. You were saying that it was strange that we weren't seeing Steven Adams on the Grizzlies sidelines doing his rehab recovery. And then we started getting people playing the semantics game of, well, he's recovered, but he's not rehabbed, and he's doing that at home or in New Zealand or wherever the hell this man was at. And he was like, no, I'm not buying that. It's odd that this dude's not here. Everybody's here. Why is Steven Adams not here?
Ortho South almost got fired off of this stuff, man. Everybody's like, oh, he's not training. He's not rehabbing with Ortho South.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on, man? He's in Cali. Where's he at?
Yeah, man. So, yeah, it's all these things are happening, and you've done your victory lap today. Christian, before we get started into the actual trade itself, I'm going to allow you this moment to get your shit off on that whole take. If you notice the screenshot for this show today, it has Desmond Bain looking like he feels some type of way of seeing Steven Adams and Derrick Rose hug and embrace on the only game of the season that Steven Adams decided to show up on, which was a road game in Chicago. So, Christian, get your stuff off, man. Go do your thing, Chris Ingram.
First of all, let me do my my best Anthony Sain impression. You dastardly incels that have been in my
you
said
incels. Wow.
They're typically the same person, man. Most of the people want to sit and argue are incels because there's something about arguing with dudes that just don't do it for me no more, man. But go ahead.
I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. But, I was telling Kenny earlier, sometimes I just got time, depending on what the day is. But, man, like, I went on this, and I'm 2 for 2 right now. I give y'all a little background. I'm 2 for 2 on my Grizzly conspiracies right now. The first one came when Dillon Brooks left out of the media day, not the media, the end of season media day, and he didn't show up. Immediately, I'm like, bro, he got some news that he did not like, and he ain't feeling it. Like, he ain't rocking with it like that. Right. And next thing you know, you got people caping talking about, oh, Dillon, he didn't know it was going to be the day. So he went ahead and dipped out early. You was the longest tenure Grizzly at that time, so I can't really rock with that. But I was right about that because we seen what happened at the end of last season, what came out, and things have you. This time, I went on probably about a 15, 20-minute conspiracy soliloquy on No Bluffing. Just talking about, like, looking at the tea leaves, bro. Like, it was just really odd to me. And I peeped this probably around maybe December was when I really first started saying, like, okay, like, he ain't on the bench at all. I ain't seen him in no pictures. And then next thing you know, we get to January and everybody else is starting to get hurt. But they immediately with the team. And so, I put a few tweets out here and there. But I don't know, man. Something was looking really weird when that whole team was basically injured and Steve-O still wasn't around. So I put a tweet out there just thinking, like, man, look, I made the joke, bro. Like, I said, you got Ja Morant out here with a Amiri bubble coat and a sling on. You got Marcus Smart with a Gucci finger splint. You got Desmond Bain with some Nike Air Tech crutches on. Like, everybody out there had on designer, whatever.
That man crutches had, that man's boot had an Air Max bubble in the bottom of his jump.
Yeah, man, some Jimmy Neutron stuff. And it was just weird to me that he wasn't around. You didn't hear nobody talking about him. A lot of us, we tap into Verno and Grind City Media because they're closer to an extent with the team, and so you heard nothing from there. And it's like, all right, man, something going on. And so you go back to just replaying all this stuff, how the situation got to where we at now in your head, and it's like, okay, it's got to be some friction there because there's no reason why Steven Adams is still, like, away from this team. And so I put that tweet out, man. It went, low-key viral. I don't pay for Twitter, so I ain't get a check for it. But it was really odd that probably, like, for Twitter. I need to do that. I need to do that because literally a game or two after that, you start to see a lot of people as well bringing this up. And Steve will pop up in Chicago. And then that picture, obviously, that's the thumbnail of the day's show happens. And it's like, all right, bro. All right. I ain't crazy now. So, yeah, man, that's, I like I said, I kind of got my shit off a little bit already on Twitter, just kind of laughing and joking. But, like, sometimes we just got to, like, think, like, use our brain, bro. Like, sometimes they're going to tell us things that it's PR. Like, they're paid to do these things. But if you just put these little points like you always do, on your show together, you can start to realize that this stuff has been in the works for a while now.
Yeah, I think that's something we've kind of forgotten the timeline. You know what I mean? As far as Steve-O is concerned, something that I tend to lean towards is when a guy gets traded, how are the players reacting? That's the kind of stuff that always makes me, like, look into what's going on. And I see Jaren yesterday. Now, Jaren is a diplomat, right? I think if you ask Jaren, what do you think about the inconsistency of Memphis weather? Jaren's gonna be like, well, man, it's just one of the beauties of Memphis, man. You know, you never know what you're gonna get. He's gonna give you that diplomatic answer, right? And I'm not saying that Jaren is lying, but he's gonna. I think every relationship you have with people, you can pull out good and you can pull out bad about them, right? And Jaren's gonna pull out the best. And you ask him about anybody, he's gonna say a good thing. Nobody's gonna go there and say, I thought Steven was a clown. Like, you know, that's not gonna happen. But I haven't seen much social media traffic from the game, from when it comes down to no broken hearts, none of that. No, I don't see any broken hearts, broken dishes, broken nothing. Promises, no song lyrics, no pictures, nothing. I haven't seen any of that from Steven Adams. So that kind of stuff typically when Tyus was gone, when Dylan was gone, we saw that from guys. I haven't seen any of that at all. And I think a lot of stuff, this is something else that happened about a year ago. Now, probably about 6-7 months ago. I think people kind of totally forgot about when Ja Morant had his first incident, right? The first time with the gun. And then all the little hit pieces came out, right? It was so much stuff that came out that there's certain elements of that I think we've kind of forgotten about. You know what I mean? And one of those elements was that a team source said that there was an in-house discussion about guys going out too much, and that after that, Ja still got in trouble the same night or whatever, and that person felt the way about that. That person was Steven Adams. Now I don't know if I'm getting my signals crossed. I think it was like process of elimination. We kind of knew it was Steven Adams, I don't know if it was assumed to be him. Well, I might just got inside information. I didn't just kind of spit out and wouldn't really think about it. But that person was Steven Adams. I can't remember how it went down. I don't know if it was public known that it was him, but that person was Steven Adams, who went to the media, right? NK says he felt like Steve-O was forced to be around the team in Chicago for trade purposes. I want to say he lives there, maybe. And he probably was there to meet with them to talk about what the next phase looks like. So I don't think you're too far off on that. But that there was a breach in the brotherhood or the fraternity of this team. That's something I talked about yesterday on my show with CJ Hurt, and also today on Jason and John, that there's a impenetrable culture with this team. No matter what you feel about Taylor Jenkins. I'm not a big Taylor Jenkins fan. I don't really think he's anything special about him. I don't think he's going to be the coach when his team gets to that championship level, which makes him like 99% of the other coaches that have came through the NBA, right? So that's not really a super negative implication against him. But one thing I must say is that they have created a culture there where not just 1 through 15, but 1 through 30 is a brotherhood. And that goes down to the Memphis Grizzlies and Memphis Hustle. You know what I mean? There's a strange culture, man. You know what I mean? Where Matthew Hurt comes up and Jake LaRavia, of all people, are cheering him on. Like, that's the last. You would think that Jake LaRavia, like, oh, crap. Like, that's my doppelganger, not this dude going off.
Right.
But you see this camaraderie, this support for these guys. But that's a culture that I believe Taylor Jenkins is a part of, right? But when a story like that comes out, that is a breach. That is a violation of that culture that has been in Memphis for a long time. You know what I mean? There have been a lot of stories that I've heard about things that go on in the locker room or happen in practice. Those things do not make it mainstream, bro. That organization does not have leaks. You know what I mean? And if you remember when Chris Wallace was here, we heard about what's the little crazy dude that did the Sham God, got to fighting with the preacher, got to fight with Garrett Temple. All that. I
heard everything.
Taylor Parsons was out here running his mouth. Under Chris Wallace, all that stuff was happening. But this Zach Kleiman, Taylor Jenkins regime, we don't know shit about shit, bro. You hear stuff, but it don't make it it don't get mainstream, right? And for Steven Adams to get out and did what he did, you gotta think about it. We haven't seen Steven Adams on that team since that happened. So we don't really know how that affected the culture or the chemistry or anything, because we haven't seen it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but I think that definitely played. I believe that caused a breach, man, in the overall trust of this team, especially when that breach involves you and the franchise player, who at the time was Ja Morant and will be Ja Morant. You know what I mean? So I think that mattered, bro. I think that mattered a lot. And also on the timeline since then, this injury thing was nasty, man. This was a nasty story. You're talking about a guy who had a legit injury, and there was some debate about how that injury should be handled, whether that's by holistic therapy and these type of things or surgery. And there's been different stories about, well, Steve was insisting we do this, or the Grizzlies, you know, a ball was dropped somewhere in that situation, and human nature, there is some type of grievance. It is, of course it is, you know what I mean? Like there was, if if all that happened was the Grizzlies gave him bad information, or he feels like the Grizzlies gave him bad information, or the Grizzlies feel like that he could have got surgery a long time ago and he didn't, or there was a fear, or there was a prolonged and it just took too long. There was extended time. Steven Adams has not played for the Grizzlies for over a year, and he won't play again. Even if he kept him, we would not see him until October, November at the earliest. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's a long time, bro. There's almost 2 years of basketball you would go without seeing Steven Adams on the court. So there was a problem there, man. That's something that really happened. And whether you're on the side that's taking Steven Adams' side that says, hey, the Grizzlies should have insisted he had surgery, they should have forced him to have surgery, or you're on the Grizzlies side and say, hey, this dude's screwing around talking about he want to roll around in juices and berries until he feel better, and sit in the Lake Minnetonka and sit in whatever Raz Al-Zul was taking a bath in. He wants to go to West Memphis, not West Memphis, to the hot springs and sit in the purifying waters. Whatever side you're on of it, there are two sides of that situation, right? So that also was on the timeline, man. Another thing that was on the timeline, media day. The Grizzlies like, oh yeah, Adams is back. He's practicing. He's good. Steve Adams, hey, mate, where'd you get that from? I ain't ready for shit. Basically, you know what I mean? That happened, man. That happened.
Me and you called that out.
We were at media day. It's like, nah, son.
Nah, bro.
And Kenny was on it real hard. I was on like, they just a little excited. Steve's just being crazy. That's old Steve-O. Like,
I said it from the beginning. I said they're just waiting for his knee to blow up. Man, that's all they're doing.
Like you did say that.
These knees are made out of Takis right now, mate.
They're just waiting for his knee to blow up, man.
You heard what I said, Christian?
You said what you say?
These knees are made out of Takis right now, man.
got them Taki legs.
Yeah. These knees are made out of Takis.
Yeah,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. What if you've kind of highlighted, both of y'all kind of highlighted some different things that are going on.
Steve-O, man. I had to pull out my All Blacks New Zealand rugby.
Let's go, man.
Oh, y'all.
Where'd you get that shirt? That's dope,
man. World Wide Web, man. Shout out to the All Blacks. Don't get it twisted, man. Shout out to my boy Kiwi, the Kiwi himself, man. You know, Aquaman. Don't play no games, bro. All right, go ahead, Ken.
If the players had come back and said, like, if that trust hadn't been broken, if that bond, I guess, or that code, I guess, hadn't been broken inside the locker room, and the players have been like, "No, we're good, man. Bring them back." Do you think that this move still would have been made?
No, he would have still been on his team. I think that's a major factor, bro. Shout out to Chris Harrington. I was listening to him today. He was on Jeff Calkins' show like he is every day around 10 o'clock. He said he thinks the number one factor is uncertainty. Like, what is the health of Steven Adams? You know what I mean? And you're talking about having $20-something million in between Steven Adams and Brandon Clark's contract, and that's a big risk you're taking to bring both of those guys back. And he said he thinks that health uncertainty was probably number one as far as that goes.
Wow. And
here's a narrative that's going around. There's a big narrative going around about getting under the tax apron and all those type of things, right? All right, so okay, let's go down that path, right? All right, right now today, it is a true statement. Trading Steven Adams for Victor Oladipo, who will not smell Memphis, Tennessee. He will not eat he will not get the rendezvous popcorn on the plane. Like, that's not happening. You're not going to see him in Memphis at all, right? He's not going to see the amenities of Memphis Airport. That's not happening. Dude will not play a game for the Grizzlies. He didn't play the game for Houston. He ain't played a game since last year for Miami, right? That buyout is probably going to happen, or whatever they're trying to do. No, the Grizzlies, they might try to hold that dude and trade him next Thursday.
Right.
They don't tell him what they're doing. But we've seen them do this. This is what they did with Andre Iguodala, right? So, but probably this is what people are. That's true. Like, that's true, right? Trading Steven Adams today, you're under the apron, the projected apron, based on the roster you have now. But you're on several. There are several schools of logic about this whole situation. You either believe that the Grizzlies are. There's one narrative that I think there's a 1% chance of happening. I hate to say 1%, but I'll give you 5. There's a 5% chance that the Grizzlies are saying, "Hey, Brandon Clark is ahead of schedule." Statistically, the Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr. front court has been phenomenal, out the chart stats or whatever. We're just gonna roll this thing out with Jaren and Brandon Clark. You know, let's fast forward into the future, right? We know it works. We've seen it work. Let's make the past be the future, right? I don't think that's happening. All right. Then you have a train of thought that's like, okay, the Grizzlies are going to continue to path their own with their season. We're going to get a top 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6 through 10, we're probably going to land somewhere in that, right? We're going to draft our big man of the future. Let's roll, right? We're going to go get our guy, right? Filipowski from Duke, right? Whatever, you know. Then there's a thought of thinking that the Grizzlies are probably going to make a trade somewhere between now and the beginning of the season for a true proven big man that's somewhere in that age range around John Jaren, not quite 30, but maybe 20, you know, somewhere in that range, right? That's like a proven NBA center, right? And I think that's the most logical thing to happen. I think they're going to add somebody that's currently in the NBA. I don't think that the Grizzlies are going to feel it. I don't think they're going to start open nights training camp with Filipowski from Duke. Like, I don't think it's some kid in college that's just going to be there starting the center, right?
So this answers this question. Do y'all think a rookie or veteran big would be a better offseason target?
Veteran. I don't particularly think it's going to be an offseason move. I think there's a good chance that happens.
Trade deadline.
Trade deadline move. I think there's a very good chance it happens by trade deadline. There are a lot of bigs whose names are being speculated around.
I said this yesterday.
Yeah.
I legitimately think that Kleiman already has a deal in place.
I think it's a deal in place too
with another team.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think there are several deals on the table.
And I think that he had to basically go and they said we need more assets to make this work. We got to have more assets. So that's when that's when this trade happened. This is
because it may take more assets, not particularly for that trade, but to make other trades happen, to make other moves. If that makes some sense. Like if I might need a few more second rounders if I want to move Jake LaRavia. if I want to move Zaire Williams, I might not want to move my own second rounders. I might want to move Houston's. You know what I mean? So that might be something that happens. But with, like you said, there are several big men on other rosters that you may bring in, right? I really don't want to get into the name dropping thing, but there's one name that would have me excited, like run out of my front door right now.
Like instant championship contender type.
Yeah, that's a 6'11" defensive player of the year candidate, super athletic, 24 years old. And damn it, I found out last night that him and Java Morant are boys and play AAU together. Like,
let's go, man. Come
Nick
on,
Claxton. If you go get Nick Claxton, man, hey, I came on Jason and John's show and I said if the Grizzlies win the NBA championship, I'm gonna stand on Beale Street, snort a line of cocaine off of what's my guy's name? What's my guy's name? Like super Grizz fan. He made a declaration he wasn't going to no more games during the COVID stuff. Oh, crap, man.
Little light-skinned guy?
White guy.
Fletch?
Fletch. I said I would snort a line of cocaine off of Fletch's arm and would kiss a random white woman in the mouth if the Grizzlies win the NBA championship. Hey, hold on. Let me show you how.
That sounds like
how dead serious I am about this.
That sounds like a day, bro. What are we
talking about right now? Hey.
That sounds like a day, man.
I'm getting them things lubed up, Chris, right now.
If
we get Nick Claxton, bro, sign me up, man. If you get a dude that's gonna be like, hey, Jaren, go out there and do whatever you need to do because I can block shots just like you can. You go block shots on the perimeter. You roam around. I'm gonna just be down there rebounding, blocking shots. Good luck if that's our front court to the rest of the league.
How does the money work though? I mean, Nick is in place.
Good question, Kenny Stubblefield.
Nick's in line to make a shit ton of money next year.
That's a good question you asked, Kenny Stubblefield. First of all, you want to ask the question: how do you get Nick Claxton on your team, right? So in order to get Nick Claxton on your roster, you're gonna have to, or any like really big like that, you're gonna have to consider that. Oh, that's another thing too. For people saying this, this is a tax thing, right? Go find me a starting center in the NBA that makes less than Steven Adams.
Come on, man.
All right, so let's just make that a totally different conversation, right? Okay, so how do you make that deal work? You have to look at the totality of the roster, right? I said this on Jason and John too. All right, what player on this roster? I don't want to say this because it'll give it away. What player on this roster have totally changed how you look at the 24-25 season? What, 6 weeks ago? Huh?
Vince, by far.
Vince Williams Jr. That's the answer. If I had said players, you would have said Vince and Gigi. But that really is the answer. Vince and Gigi. Both of y'all gave the answers, right? 6 weeks ago, how did you guys feel about the wing rotation on this roster that had Zaire Williams, David Roddy, Marcus Smart, and Jake LaRavia? How did you feel about that wing rotation 6 weeks ago?
I'll bring this back to not even just 6 weeks ago. Before the season started, you had Chris Harrington in the studio.
Yeah.
And y'all had a whole conversation.
That?
Had a whole conversation about Marcus Smart.
Right. We said if Marcus Smart doesn't work. We said
if Marcus Smart work.
We said if Marcus Smart is too little.
And both of y'all said,
shit, it's over.
It's over.
What we're going to do?
Yep.
David Roddy is your defensive stopper. That's what we were saying. That's what we were. And here comes this dude, the 6'4" and 6'8" if I ask y'all, wing, Vince Williams, right? who's like this incredible wing. He scored 15 points a game.
I thought he was 6'9". I thought he was 6'9". What are you talking about?
6'13" wing Vince Williams. 6'12" wing Vince Williams. But no, man, you get Vince Williams, a 6'4", 6'5" wing who's just been effing incredible, bro. Like on both sides of the ball. I'm just been watching this dude be the lead guard on offense and taking dudes down the dribble and getting to the basket. I'm like, okay, bro, what is this? Bro?
In the middle of the season is still adding things to his game. He had a step back 3 yesterday for the first time. I'm like,
man.
The man is looking like we got Mikal Bridges at home, bro. Like not just wings at home. He's looking like we got Mikal Bridges at home. And it's wild how good he is. All right, so
that was the thing.
Right, but check this out. In the last 4 or 5 weeks, however long, it seems like these dudes just got good. But in seeing Vince Williams, G.G. Jackson, these two guys emerge as two solid 8-9 man rotation wings. If you want to go 8, they're in that 8. You want to go 9, they're in that 9, right? If we're seeing those guys emerge as making Jake, Zaire, and Roddy, them dudes don't even bother me no more. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, they don't even bother me. Like, you ass. Just go sit y'all little goofy ass down here somewhere. I don't care. I got my 2 wings, right? I got a 6'9" one and I got a 6'13" one in Vince Williams, right? So
apparently, according to NK, he's actually 6'10" when he wears white socks and black shoes.
Hey, that black shoe, white sock energy is real.
That's real psycho. That's real psycho stuff.
The goofier Vince looks, the better game he's about to have, bro. When he's out there,
he got some new shoes. Y'all seen that?
He put the PGs
He got some new shoes last night. Yep.
He had the shits on yesterday, boy. He did it. No match shit. Shoes had like red and blue or some shit.
Purple.
All right, but this is the thing, man. Listen, like when I had Brevin Knight on my show, right? Brevin was like, I wouldn't count out Vince as being your starter with Marcus Smart coming back. Of course, you got to pause because it's Brevin Knight saying it, right? So I was like, all right, Brevin, I hear you. I'm just not there, bro. I am there, man. If Vince Williams is my starting small forward next year, I'm 100% okay with that, right? Based on what I've seen this year. All right, so gentlemen, I'm gonna throw this out. If I'm okay with Vince Williams being my starting small forward, what does that change instantly?
Let me ask you this: Does it?
I just ask you something.
I don't believe in coincidences. Here's the question I want to ask you.
Come on.
All of a sudden, it comes out today: Lakers and Bucks are interested in Marcus Smart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in coincidences, man.
You've been talking about it for a minute now.
So how do we get to Nick Claxton, right? You ask yourself, how expendable is Marcus Smart at this point? If I've seen that Vince, because everybody was crying about because Marcus Smart 6'4" and Vince Williams 6'4", they just different, right? Everybody was the same height, you know what I mean? But everybody's been talking about Vince's. We need the bigger wing out there, right? All right, cool, right? But okay, so I'm fine with it. If Vince Williams is your starting small forward, it makes you wonder what is Marcus Smart at that point if he's good enough to be your starting small forward. So. Meaning Vince Williams, it makes because we were fine if Marcus Smart had to be your lead defender, not particularly your small forward. So, do you call a team? Okay, so if Nick Claxton is going to eat your money up, right? If you know he's going to get a new deal this summer. First of all, when did the Grizzlies say what level of they're going to spend? Period. Nobody said. Last time I heard them talk,
I was told last night they don't want to hit that second apron, but they want to hit they'll stay in the first.
Has Zach Kleiman came out and said
I have not heard Zach Kleiman.
Last time I heard Zach Kleiman came out, he said, "Hey, we gonna do what we got to do." That's last time I heard him say.
I was at Robert Perez's house the other day. That new house out in what's that new compound he built? Yeah, the new joint.
Have you seen that shit, Chris?
Yeah,
man, it's ridiculous, man.
Damn.
I need to be his friend, dog.
I was at his house the other day.
That dude's talking about, I want to make some changes to downtown. Hey, get your shit off, big dog. Hey.
But that's why I said the tax situation, that's a silly conversation, bro. This man has said it before that he's willing to spend.
Right.
I'm not worried about saving.
This is how you get there, man. This is how you get there, right? Because we worrying about money and salary and all that type of stuff. Next year, if you bring in rookie center or whatever you do, right, you're still going to be paying Marcus Smart. You're still going to be paying Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard, in essence, will be your fifth guard next year, right? He's your fifth guard. You got John Morant, Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, Vince Williams is a guard / forward, and then you got Luke Kennard. He'd be a fifth guard, right? You're going to be paying him around $15 million or more because they're probably going to extend him, right? And then you got Marcus Smart who's going to be making like 15. That's $30 million you're going to be having those two guys. What if I can trade both of those dudes, get my starting center, and get another wing who may be better than Vince, who might be a cooler dude just to bring out off the bench to be another reserve wing. Use GG more of a 3-4 or whatever you're doing. Get a position you're trying to fill. But you get Nick Claxton, who will be that perfect big man. Now is that big man? Is that wing going to be Dorian Finney-Smith in a perfect world? Hell yeah. But it might be your other boy. It might be
Royce O'Neal.
Yeah, it might be Royce O'Neal. It might be somebody like that. But would I do that? Would I get rid of Marcus Smart's contract? But I get rid of Luke Kennard and I get guys that can consolidate this roster and give me a big man that's like, you're talking about a dude that's 24 years old, man. He's like 24, 25.
Right.
Same age as John and them. Play AAU with John. Dude, my nipples are erect right now. Now, is that the only deal you can make?
But then you become but honestly, don't you become the worst shooting team in the entire league?
What you mean?
If they lose Kennard? Like, who else you shoot? I mean,
but bro, here's the thing. Having a shooter that great on your team is cool, but only if he's on the court.
Yeah, you're right. It's a luxury, right?
It's not like do I want to sit and watch Ja and Bain sit down while Luke Kennard is on the court with Marcus Smart? No, I want some combination of Ja, Bain, Marcus Smart, Vince Williams on the court at all times. I don't want none of those guys sitting down so Kennard can play. I don't care how good of a shooter he is. I want those dudes playing all the minutes on the guard and wing position, thrown in with GG in there too. I don't want to see, you know what I mean? Like, now I'm not saying this is me just spitballing. This is a possible trade you can do where instead of spending all that money into those guys, instead of keeping those guys and then adding another big man that you're paying $20-some million a year, just consolidate the money. Throw those two guys in the trade. You get your big man back. You get another guy who's back on the contract, and you're not spending as much money because you just shipped out $30 million in salary. And guess what else? You probably could send another guy out like a Zaire Williams, like a Jake LaRavia, like a David Roddy to send out to give you even more tax relief. You can go through a 3-for-2 and free up another roster spot like that to a team like Brooklyn. That's just that something Anthony Sain rarely does is talk trade scenarios. You hear it here first on this supplemental edition of the show. Or you could go another route, gentlemen. Are y'all ready for this one?
What you got?
Let's say that you make a trade like that, right? And you say, yeah, I want using those same two guys, Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, right? You take those same two guys and you say, you know what? Let me get a value big at center who's just going to rebound, just be big. That totally allows Jaren Jackson Jr. to be Jaren Jackson Jr. Because right now, this version of Jaren is not Jaren. I don't want Jaren Jackson Jr. to have to score this much, right? I don't want him to have such a high usage rate. I don't want Jaren to be running ISOs 80% of the game. Like the Jaren ISOs.
I don't mind that it's in his bag, though.
Yeah, I don't mind that it's in his bag. I don't want that to be his responsibility, right?
Right.
I want Ja Morant, Desmond Bain, and maybe even one more guy to be my primary playmaker, ball handler, scorers, things like that. But I want Jaren to be able to score to have teams like, shit, man, how the hell do you guard the Grizzlies, bro?
You can't.
That's what I want Jaren Jackson Jr. to be. I don't want him to be the number 2, number 3, number 1 scorer. I want to be the number 3 or 4 scorer, right? So let's say you just get a big that just allows Jaren to go back to his old role defensively, right? And just kind of do his thing on offense, but he's not being really called upon. Let's say you go get, then you say, okay, well, let me spend just a little money back in that 10, maybe $8 to $10 million range for my starting center. Send those same contracts out and get a guy who makes a little bit more money, who could be more of a wing player or a perimeter player, right? So now I'm looking at Chicago. I'm saying Chicago, let's talk business. Send me
who is Memphis been flirting with for about
forever.
17 years?
They're pretty red dude. They're pretty light-skinned girl. There's a class. Everybody likes with the light eyes, right? And the curly hair.
Blue candle. No, that was who was that? No, he didn't do that. Never mind. My bad. I was thinking the slam dunk contest when he blew the
for those of you
candle
who do not know, there is a guy every year around this time. You hear these weird rumors like the Grizzlies are connected to, like, why the hell are the Grizzlies connected to him? That ain't never made sense. Like, and we get excited about it, and it's like then it turns into nothing, right? What if I call Chicago and I say, Chicago, we want Andre Drummond, right? But there's nothing on my roster that I can give you that would make an Andre Drummond trade make sense. Like, you're not gonna get like Andre Drummond makes like $3-4 million, right? So you're not gonna get like Zaire for Andre Drummond. You ain't getting that, right? Because
they don't want that.
Scottie Pippen Jr.
He's probably about a $10-15 million contract. He's probably a mid-level contract player's worth, right? So what if this is just me spitballing? This is stuff that'll make Anthony Sain run through the wall, nipples hard, that type of stuff, right? But if you call Chicago and you say, hey, give us Andre Drummond, we'll send you Marcus Smart, we'll send you Luke Kennard, we'll send you 2024 first round pick, this year's pick. On that Claxton thing, you're sending out the 2024 pick too. You're sending it out too, right? And you give us Andre Drummond. Fuck it. I'm just going. Oh, excuse. Hey, it's out here now. Go back.
It's out there now
for the replay again. And you give me Zach LaVine. Does it sound crazy? Yes. Could I see Chicago doing that shit? Yes. Why could I see Chicago doing it? You're going to add a hard-nosed guard in Marcus Smart, who still has a ton of value. You're having a high-level shooter in Luke Kennard. Nice pieces that you can have for a few more years as you rebuild. You're going to get a top 6, 7, 8, 10 draft pick this year. You understand what I'm saying? And you're probably gonna lose. May not be many more teams, because if you try to connect Zach LaVine to the Lakers, they're gonna throw out some BS, right? Like those are two proven rotation players in the league who have skills,
right?
High level defender, best shooter in the league, and you're gonna get a 2024 draft pick, and you're gonna you send us Drummond, who's gonna be on the Grizzlies will sign him this summer for like a $16 million 2-year deal, something like that for Drummond. And you have Zach LaVine's contract. Your starting lineup is ridiculous. Your starting lineup,
run me through that starting lineup real quick.
There is Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Zach LaVine, Jaren Jackson Jr., Andre Drummond. Nasty. And if you go back to the other one, you're looking at Ja Morant, Desmond Bane. I guess you're doing Vince Williams, Jaren, and Nick Claxton, which is also equally disgusting.
If you can get DFS or O'Neal, will they take Vince's spot? 38%, 36%. If you take this Brooklyn situation and you get DFS or you get O'Neal, 38% from 3, 36% from 3. They start
I'd probably start DFS over Vince at that point. But Royce O'Neal, you come to sit by me. Not me, but coach. You gonna come sit by coach. That's just me spitballing, bro. These are the type of possibilities you can do.
Which 5 would you like more?
If I'm playing 2K, give me that one that Chicago trade.
Chicago trade.
Man.
Yeah. Hey, I can make Zach LaVine play defense in a video game.
Yes, you can.
I'm lock somebody's ass up with over game. But in real life, Zach LaVine isn't the most willing defender. Kind of gives off some David Jones vibes, so to speak. But man, he can fill it up. He can fill it up quick, bro. He can fill it up, and he can fill it up quick. And you're talking about in the playoffs when you need playmakers. He's a whole nother monster when it comes down to that. But what I'm saying is, don't limit your thinking, man. Don't limit this Steven Adams trade to thinking that everything is hopeless and the Grizzlies just, we need a big man. And I'm telling you, man, there are guys out there that can be moved. You got Clint Capella in Atlanta. There are deals so you can get Clint Capella here. But like I said, I got super excited looking at this Steven Adams trade because I was like, man, there's a new wave of the Memphis Grizzlies where we've always said, man, we need a guy that's a rim runner, is athletic, and these type of things. Those capabilities, those possibilities are out there, man. Like, that's out there. Like, that's something that could very well happen between now and then. Or like I said, and if they went out and said, we're going to go draft our big for the future, I would be super uneasy about that. But like my boy Chris Harrington said today, I would feel less uneasy about it if you're talking about adding this big man to a rotation with Santiago Aldama, with Brandon Clark, with Xavier Tillman, and not putting the pressure on him to particularly start and just kind of letting him find his way as the year goes on. Because who would be mad if we had drafted Walker Kessler, right? And then you look up in a couple of years and he's Walker Kessler. Like, who would have been mad if that's our starting center today? And they may have learned the error of their ways with it, man. They went out. Trey Jameson was a guy they looked at for this year's draft that the Grizzlies brought in, worked out, interviewed him. And now you got Trey Jameson on your roster. How do we know the Grizzlies aren't convinced of saying, hey, man, plus Trey Jameson will be part of that kid's going to be on this team next year. You know what I mean? How do you know we're not adding like this rookie, this highly top 10 rookie to that group of guys? And you're saying, okay, let's do that too. I don't think that's going to happen, but I would not be totally upset if that did happen. But like I said, the possibilities are endless. I'm not upset with this Steven Adams trade. Like I said, I think that a relationship was severed between him, the front office, and possibly the guys on this team as well.
So do you think if your scenario, you've pitched out 3 scenarios, the Brooklyn scenario, the Chicago scenario, and finding a big man in the draft.
And also just riding with what you got.
And riding with
that still would involve drafting a dude.
The draft, right?
Yeah,
the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Is X a part of any of those equations?
I don't know, man. I thought I would not have been surprised last night if Xavier Tillman got traded because that stuff is so goofy. When they said, oh yeah, by the way, in the middle of the first quarter, oh yeah, by the way, Xavier Tillman is questionable. Then he comes out there, he comes out of the back with the street clothes on. Oh,
go take a shower.
You know what made me jump? You know what made me go crazy last night for real though? Because I was talking about for that Bulls trade, you could do a 3-for-2, right? Where you could do Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, and another low payroll contract to get back shit, man. Zach LaVine and Drummond, right? Remember I said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They said before the game, out tonight will be, of course, Marcus Smart. He was on the out list. And they said also unavailable will be Luke Kennard and Derrick Rose. I was like, why they talking about Derrick Rose, man? Derrick Rose been out for a month.
He's been out for a minute. Why?
He's been out for a month, man. Why they said that Derrick Rose could be out? I said, let me find out. We about to trade with Chicago and send Derrick Rose, the native son, back home. Let me find out. We about to send the native son back home, man.
Man, we've been hurt.
Yeah. Oh man, I would have, bro. That trade that went down last night, bro. You would have saw me. You would have saw me jump from the media booth and falling down to the crowd, bro, on the floor.
Man.
Local media member Anthony Sain kills himself at a Grizzlies game over the LaVine trade.
Let me just say this too.
We asked Perry Sharkey, who was sitting beside him, what he thought the motive of Anthony Sain, who we thought was a very happy person, would jump off the thing. He said, well, I know Sain was a Zach LaVine fan. I think he just got too excited and jumped.
I think he got excited and fell. It was a fall.
Too excited. Man, I just want to say this real quick, man, in regards to Luke. Because you were talking about the tax implications and shout out to the Discord, man. If y'all not in the Bluff City Media Discord
for $5,
man, go on jump in that joint. You know,
the price of it used to be Crystal 5 for $5.
It ain't
a price of a tall coffee from Starbucks.
Yeah,
man.
the price of a 4 for $4, the biggie bag joint at Wendy's.
How's a 4 for $4 and they selling it for $5, man? It's crazy.
Right. Now, they got the biggie bag now. The biggie bag joint 5 for $4. The price of the hidden McDonald's.
Hey, but let's be real. Let's be real though. Wendy's late night kicks, man. It's so fire. Those little burgers at night,
Chris,
man.
You mean?
Ooh. Huh?
Hey, have you had the Crystal new fries though?
No.
Because they switched fries to a little battered fry that was gross. Then they switched to some other fries hitting hard, bro. Anyway, go ahead.
Sorry,
no,
Chris.
man. No, y'all good, bro. We have a lot of interesting conversations over there. And one of them we had just a couple of weeks ago, man. Me and Sean Coleman, I don't know if he's sitting in the comment. Shout out to my boy Sean. We go back and forth on this Luke Kennard thing because, like, you talk about his value as a shooter, and you know, Sean is a great numbers guy. I'm not really big into how analytics affect the game. I try to look at it just and judge it from what I see. But he talked about how Luke's, value on his team is just sky high when he's playing with the starters. And now that this whole Steven Adams situation that came, now it's like, we moved off of Steve-O for tax implications. And Luke makes more money than Steve-O. And so to go back to your point earlier when you talking about he's like the fifth big in your rotation, I just want, the fifth guard, my bad. Fifth guard in your rotation. Like, I just want Grizz fans to relax when you throw these type of things out there, because a lot of people, like, they get tied to names versus the team, that the name on the front of the jersey. And with Luke, bro, like, his percentages are great, but what people got to realize is that Luke is not even in the top. I had this long tweet that I put out, and I'm just spitballing right now off the top of my head, but he's not in the top 10 of 3-point field goal attempts in the NBA, even though he has this great percentage. Like, he's not even top 10 in the league of that. And so it to me, it's like, all right, it's great when he's shooting it, but the fact that you have to beg that guy to shoot, and every coach that he's played for has said that.
Hasn't that always been the case with him?
Yeah,
always.
Yeah, he's going to be a minus on defense. You know he's going to get you killed. This is what people don't understand, man. And I'm gonna back up what you're saying. If this is people think about like guys like Vince, right? Vince is bombarded the rotation. Vince Williams is going to be part of the rotation. You can play him at the 3, you can play him at the 2, you can play him beside Ja in a big backcourt with him and Ja Morant. You can play him at the wing with Ja and Bane or Ja and whoever. But it's hard to do those kind of things with Kennard because all he does is shoot the ball well. Like he's a elite level shooter. So it's hard to find a rotation spot for him. Because this is what the Grizzlies rotation is probably going to look like next year. Let's say you stand pat, right? You draft your center and you keep Marcus Smart, you keep Luke Kennard, right? Let me maximize my screen. Okay, if you do that, right, that's your rotation, all right? So your starter is going to be Ja Bane. Let's say your starter is Marcus Smart, right? Ja Bane, Marcus Smart. The first rotation, you're going to sit Marcus Smart, right? You're going to pull him out, and you bring Vince in at the wing, right? Then the next rotation, next wave of rotation, you're going to take Ja Morant out. You bring Marcus Smart back in. You can either move Vince to the 2 and bring Gigi in at the 3, or you can move Kennard in. You can bring Kennard at the 2. Then you got to move. Right. You can have Smart at the 1, Kennard at the 2, Vince at the 3. Yeah, you can do that. Or you may want to go with Gigi, but he's the 5th man in that rotation. And if I'm doing that, there's somebody that's probably better than him that is sitting there waiting while I've got Luke Kennard on the court. Can you find minutes for him? Sure, but he's not gonna be the guy getting a lot of minutes because he's the 5th guard. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Look at this. This is what ASAP Casper said. He said you can find some other 40% dude from 3 for much cheaper. On its face value, I instantly rejected that. Yeah. I instantly rejected that because 40% 3-pointer, everybody needs them. Yeah. Like everybody, and so they're not cheap, right?
Right.
I guess my question is, do y'all agree with that, or is that?
No, I don't think that's particularly true. But here's the thing about Kennard. Like I said, he's an elite level shooter, but he's also a 6'5" shooting guard who can't play the point, can't play small forward, and it's like
just limited, man. Just limited.
I have to play him with other good defenders, and he's at a position where the guys on the other side of him are known to cook him. Like other guards he's going to be guarding against are going to be going at him. Like I said, he's great. He's a great luxury to have, but he's got to be on the court for the whole 3-point shooting thing to be fine. It's not like we're saying sit Desmond Bane, who's your starting shooting guard.
Right.
Like you're going to have to find ways to make Kennard work on his team, as opposed to a guy like Vince, who's
you don't have to work to find. He does it all anywhere.
He's going out right now. He can go out there and do it all. So like that's not an anti. People get so emotional, man. That's not an anti. Like when you say those type of things, I don't understand why people are trashing Kennard. No, man, it's not. It's just an honest basketball. It's just a honest, rational basketball conversation, and people have to like kind of remove your emotions when they come down to that type of stuff. And it's also your 5th guard that you're paying $15 million for. You know what I mean? So
that you've said this before. You've called him a luxury that we might not be able to keep. Right?
Yeah.
Like
I don't want to see a time where Marcus Smart comes in as my backup point guard. Kennard is at the 2. I got Gigi out there. I got Vince out there or whatever. And I got Gigi just kind of sitting here like, I guess I'll sit here while, Luke Kennard gets his minutes off. I'd rather see us go Marcus Smart, Vince Williams, Gigi with Jaren and Brandon Clark or whatever and just have a nasty-ass lineup that can, and I'm saying, and it could work? Yeah, of course it could work if you have that lineup next year, but I would much rather see that consolidated and get a legit big man back. But we'll see, man. It's going to be a fun, exciting, possible next few days or next few months. It's going to be fun for sure.
If we were able to trade Smart and Luke straight for a big, should we use the 1st-round pick on a true shooting forward or small forward?
Wings are much bigger of a crapshoot in the draft than a big is.
We've seen that. We've seen that over the last 3 years.
Guys like you get Derek Lively's all the time who come in as rookies,
right?
And they're able to contribute on good teams. And then you get Zaire Williams in the top 10.
Right.
And if you didn't look at this though, man, like people did a lot of bitching on draft night, right? And the main person that you can say the Grizzlies missed on is Trey Murphy, who went at 19, right? But look at the dudes who were right around Zaire Williams, who Grizzlies fans bitched about that night, who also were bums. Like Book Night. You know what I mean?
Man, that was my guy.
He's worse than Zaire.
Man. He's out the league. He's out the league.
James Booknight, trash. Moses Moody, trash. Like these are dudes that we bitched about, and all those dudes were these hyped wing of the futures that the Grizzlies need to draft. And like that position, Brandon Miller, everyone's like, that dude's not gonna be him. That dude is him. Like it's just a crapshoot, man.
I said it. I said
I thought Brandon Miller's gonna be a bum. Why do you go get? How do you not go get Scoot Henderson?
Yeah.
Scooter Braun.
But with bigs, man, if a guy's a solid college big, a lot of times that pans out, man. There are certain things about today's NBA that scouts are able to see. Okay, yeah, that dude's gonna contribute to the NBA. Like for example, man, did anybody look at Trey Jameson last night and be like, that kid, he's lost. Like he don't know what he's doing.
No,
Biggs.
I look at him and said, "That dude's a monster.
Play,
that dude's a monster."
Yeah, like them dudes are so plug and play, man. You can.
Yeah.
Jenkins was like, I got with him earlier today, ran through some stuff with him. I knew he was ready to go, so he went out there and contribute. And if he had to play 30 minutes, I guarantee you, if
he would have did it.
If he had played 30 minutes, he would have had a double-double last night. Like that's just kind of how that stuff translates well. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
And then defensively, did you see how they had to shoot floaters over that man just to get the ball to the goal, bro? Like that was amazing to watch.
And like to my man's point, who had the question, like would I trade those two guys for a big and then use that first round pick for a rookie small forward? Why would I do that when I can I can add it in the package and get a real small forward? Like I can get Claxton and one of the many wings they got over there as well. So that's the way I would try to go.
Yeah, Cam Johnson's on the outs over there too.
Yeah,
man. Contract.
Man, if Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard turns into and this year's first round pick turns into Nick Claxton and Cam Johnson, I don't give a damn if Luke Kennard was shooting 70% from three.
Man, for real, man.
Get your little bandy ass. Get your little. Man, shit.
Beverly 90210 looking ass out of here.
Man, freak ass. You pass a Nate Chester looking ass. Man, get your ass on somewhere, man.
Hey man, why is Nate Chester catching? Why is Chester catching strays in here, man?
Because he looks like him and Luke Kennard could just be boys. He's talking about the goodness of the Lord, you know.
Damn.
Hey man, get up out of here. Hey bro, I'm gonna tell y'all something else too, man. I don't get emotional about these players, bro. There's about 3 dudes. If I woke up and I found out they weren't on my team tomorrow, that I'd be in my feelings about. And Steven Adams ass ain't one of them. I'm sorry. Bro. And shout out to the people. We're gonna miss you, Steve. Shit, I've been missing you, Steve. I ain't seen your ass in a year.
I ain't talking about it, man.
I ain't seen your ass since fucking January. Excuse me. I ain't seen you.
Literally.
What are you talking about? Oh, man, we're gonna miss Steve-O. Man, we've been missing Steve-O for 18 months. What are you talking about?
Man, these people been trying to cope hard, bro. They've been coming up with every excuse. He back home. He don't own a home in Memphis, bro. They reported that him and JB swapped houses when they traded him. Like, what are y'all talking about, bro? Peace out.
Hey man, I take my cues from 12, man. Has he said anything? Nah, bro, I'm good.
Your cues are right because 12 ain't said nothing. My boy starts off the conversation just to show you the level of emotion, man. My boy SM Goose, pull up the comments, Kenny, at the very top. He was in the comments before we even started the broadcast.
Yeah, he's down bad right now, man.
Down bad, man. This SM Goose. I think the SM stands for Steven's mama. That's the only person.
Steven's mama's goose.
That's only somebody who thinks that Steven Adams is the face of the Grizzlies.
We ain't had no face for a year and a half now.
Yeah, we've been faceless.
We have the face of the NBA, but the face of the Grizzlies is gone, man.
It's Steven Adams, yeah. And like shout out to Houston, man, because I think that move could possibly work. He's not gonna be there. I don't think they brought him in to add depth to the center position. And it's a pretty cheap risk. You're not doing nothing but sending out some second round picks to get a guy who, if he's ready to play, he'll be good for Houston. But shout out to Steve-O, man. Whatever. Shout out to the Kiwi, man. And once again, I jumped on Twitter last night about 4 a.m. I saw all of them. They was in the spaces together. I saw all of them. I said, oh shit. Got a room full of Kiwis in there, man. Hey, what are we doing? Are we leaving these naysayers alone? Are we getting the hell up out of here? Are we getting the hell out of here?
Oh man.
I have a question for y'all. Are there more black people in Memphis or Houston? Said, oh shit. They was having a real delegation going on. I don't know what time it was locally, but it was 4 a.m. over here, man. They might have been
it was a real crisis in that
it was down bad.
Man. Hey man,
we can keep our gold teeth. I heard they eat fish and spaghetti in Houston as well. We could keep our same swag. We could just.
Hey, is this ever? Listen, Jason said this. I'm petty. I can officially go back to screw Steve-O because he got
man. I'm not gonna act like I'm in love with those Steve Adams stinking ass, bro.
Hey, we might have to add another petty machete to the family, man. Retro petty machete, bro.
I'm not screwing around with this. Oh, we're gonna miss you, Steve. I ain't seen your ass. It was cold out. It was cold outside last time I seen your ass, bro.
Man, them bamboo.
18 months.
Them bamboos of the season, the snitched on Ja. Get out of here, man.
That Ja Morant ain't focused on basketball, you know. Man, get out of here, man. How I know you wasn't the dude that was running the Tim McMahon? How I know that?
Hey, we had an investigation going for a long time.
You suspect number 2, Stephen.
And Rob Fisher was suspect number 1. We cleared him.
You suspect number 2.
Suspect number 2.
Was even blaming Danny Green. Everybody was pointing Danny Green.
Everybody blamed Danny Green, man. How we know Steve Adams was the one running to them folks? Now, I don't think that was Steve, man. But nah, man. But but people were down bad yesterday, man. They was in there. So what do we do?
Hey, man, let's get out of here, bro.
We're going to Houston.
Been here for an hour.
Just as many black people as in Memphis. It's the same energy.
Hey, shout out Steve-O, man.
shout out Funaki Stats, man. Shout out to my girl Pia, man. Shout out to my boy Kari. You know what I'm talking about? Who else? All y'all, all the Kiwis out there, man. Shout out, man. All blacks,
baby.
All blacks. Shout out, man. All y'all. But yeah, for my boy Chris Ingram, we was gonna go a hot 30, but we went a whole hour for y'all, man. All my people, all my New England women out there, all my New England, the real naysayers of New England, man. You know what I'm talking about? All my baddies, all the white people, or white black people, whatever y'all are in New Zealand. Shout out to y'all, man. Boy. All my hockey. Oh, y'all, we gonna holler at y'all though, man. Hey, you gotta roll, do what you gotta do, man. We ain't mad at you. We understand. We feel you. This Memphis shit, man. We feel you. Y'all. It's optional with y'all, man. We gotta be down for the Grizzlies. But we feel you though. Hey, we holler at y'all though, man. Steven Adams has been real. We gonna holler at y'all, man. And we out.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.